Hello, and welcome to another episode of Femme de Chem Chats. I'm Kit, your host, with your weekly musings on life, the universe, but mostly on disability. This week, I'm covering a controversial topic in the blindness community called bioptic driving or low vision driving. In order to cover this accurately, I did interview somebody who uses this technique because my vision is too limited to go out and test it. Bioptic driving is a method that enables somebody with low acuity in order to drive safely. So the driver wears their regular glasses, and in the glasses is something like this, which is a far scope, and enables them to see far away. So in order to use them, the driver tilts their head down in order to see far away and tilts their head back in order to see their normal vision, similar to bifocals. The path to driving is a little bit different. First, you need to go to a low vision optometrist in order to get fitted for this pair of lenses. Two, you need to go and have extensive training on this device. And three, you finally get to go and actually take your written exam, work with an instructor on actually driving, and then finally take your actual driving test. Only 37 states allow for bioptic driving, so this creates an interesting situation where you can live in one state but not be able to drive into your border state. So, for example, two states I travel between a lot are Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Pennsylvania does allow for bioptic driving, whereas New Jersey doesn't. There's also a lot of variance between the states that do allow it. Some states have very strict laid out guidelines as to how it works, whereas other states just have a very laissez-faire approach. Florida has kind of an interesting rule where you can use bioptics to drive, but not to pass the initial vision test. Bioptic driving isn't really for everyone. People who have limited visual fields or who are like me and are very light sensitive won't find much benefit in this. It's really only meant for people with low acuity, meaning people whose vision is only impaired due to blurriness. Driving is a very sensitive topic for most people who have lost their vision as an adult, which is most of the blind community. Unlike me, who grew up knowing I would probably never drive, the moment that people hang up their car keys for good is an extremely pivotal moment in their vision loss journey. And in the United States, getting your driver's license is kind of a rite of passage, and this is more true for people who live in rural and suburban communities. So the thought of giving up driving for people in these areas is truly terrifying because it's a loss of independence. It's a big reason this is a controversial topic. Not only is it an intellectual discussion, but it is also an emotional one as well. Bioptic driving can potentially help some people keep their driver's license for longer, and for kids simply get their license. It's a tricky topic. I'm going to quote my source here and say, "It works better when all drivers, remember that driving is not a right, but rather a privilege." Drivers need to be aware of their ability levels and also what optimal driving conditions look like for them. And they need to be honest about when a situation might not be safe. Personally, I'd like to see the United States invest in more public transit infrastructure because loss of sight would not have near the devastation for people if they also didn't lose their sense of independence and ability to get around. That was this week's episode of Femme de Chem Chats. If you want to learn more about bioptic driving, all the links are in the description. If you have any questions about bioptic driving, drop a question in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and please don't forget to follow on Twitter, like on Facebook. All the links are again in the description. If you want to see these videos in advance, become a patron. You can become a patron at patreon.com/KitEnglard. Again, all of these descriptions are in the links, and I will see you later.